A very good evening and warm welcome to all of you, and waiting for this particular occasion. So, it is mainly to bring in response to growing concerns and surroundings cybersecurity. So, around this particular topic, which is a keep alarming around and around in everyone's personal and professional surroundings. So, in this context, Asucham has taken edition in collaboration with 63 Moons to organize this particular conference on cybersecurity. It not only jeopardizes our personal and corporate lives, but also exposes us and our businesses to unknown risks. Right. In recent years, cybersecurity has been identified as a national risk, given its potential impact on the general populace and businesses. So, as the world is evolving and advancing in the realm of digitalization, the threat of cyber attacks also grown. So, India is no exception to that. And in October 2023, Security, a US company, informed that world about the availability of Indians' personal data on the dark web. It would have been easy to ignore. But, however, it's a very huge, very bad news for us, filling completely all our news feeds around our social media and all our life day in and day out. We will be with one or other digital gadgets. But whether society and everyone is equipped with digital literacy accordingly or not. So we feel there is a great amount of awareness and education needs to be really taken place in every citizen of the world. It's not only just one country, or from village to the corporate world, and anyone needs to be aware of it. So to bring that, because it has connections to, because it really impacts your personal data, and also the company what you're working for, and also the society what you're in, and if at all you're part of government or any hospital or any institutions you're part of it, you are also prone to get exposed with a lot of cyber risks. So I believe it is a need of all to get educated and bring that awareness, because when we hear especially cyber attacks, if at all you are exposed to cyber security concern and hackers, these things now, it looks very silly. When we got to know someone really got a victim, when we hear the story, we feel it sounds very silly. But a lot of educated people, highly educated people also getting trapped. So it means there is an essence of requirement for having right tools and mechanisms and cyber security in place in all elements of the systems. But not only on top of it, main important thing is common sense. That common sense can be really bring to all kinds of people only with right sense of education. So I think that education should start from schools and society, at a companies where you're working for, and also where even the government, I definitely see that government has been taking a lot of initiatives to bring awareness and a lot of advertisements in the media and wherever it is doing. But still, I think the hackers are going even more faster than what government and society is trying to move ahead, actually. So means we need to have even more stronger and very focused education system for this cyber, how you can be a victim of cyber attackers. So in that context, I think we felt at Asucham as a association where we associate with the general public and also corporates world. So we felt there is an essence of having some kind of a awareness sessions, so that companies take some kind of initiatives around this particular very key role it plays. The people, CTOs or CEOs or like people who are playing a key role in taking the certain kind of a digital decisions. If at all you wanted to make your infrastructure secure, because when it's only not only at personal level, at a corporate level, if at all you wanted to secure your infrastructure completely, really prone to attacker proof, then you need to really build a strong and cyber security system in place. Though you're putting your data in cloud, for example, right? but still we say Amazon, AWS, or whatever the cloud systems you say it, but they have very sophisticated and highly advanced technologies built on cloud. But however, as a consumer, you have to build security around it. They have tools, but you have to use, because AWS or Google or these Microsoft won't assure you that your data is secure, because they will say we have tools, you have to use those tools to build and bring that security features enabled for your data. Means that is corporate level I'm talking about. So in these various topics we have it. I guess this particular forum can bring various dimensions to this particular thing this evening, so that we can take some kind of a initiatives. And when I was discussing with some of my friends in abroad, like actually they are talking about a lot of interesting aspects to it. So government should bring a lot of animated videos, how one can be victim of it, how you can bring that education into it. So why I'm keep telling about education and awareness is that that is the key thing at this stage of bring, because people now we are using digital payment system, everything digital payment system. India has been with the UPI system. We are one of the fastest and also growing system where we are using digital payments. Means we are highly exposed than anyone else in the world. Means the person who is in the farmer who doesn't even know, but still people are using Google Pay and bank transfers and everything, they are using it. Means the attackers, really it is a very sensitive, very delicate thing. What I think government should even keep a more strong education system where even uneducated people can understand its relevance. I know they are putting already efforts. I believe in the direction we may need even more stronger vertical initiatives. So I'm hoping that, ma'am, I think we'll throw some light on it, how we can able to even corporate world can even collaborate and bring more awareness in the all sectors of the people. Thank you, ma'am. We can continue here.
May I request Mr. Deepak Mishra to please deliver the theme address for the today's session?
Hi, this is good evening to everybody. I guess Mr. Ram Babu has already given a brief on the theme. I would just like to touch upon 2-3 more granular aspects on the challenges and opportunities. As Mr. Ram Babu said, the corporate has a lot of responsibilities to take this opportunity to the next level. As a corporate organization, if we take this opportunity and we bring in a lot of trust to our business, that will definitely help to for a corporate to get more business. In cybersecurity, is if we drive it as a culture in our organization, we can build more business, we can build more trust. At the same time, we can help our global economy to survive the latest threats that we are seeing, especially the ransomware threats. As you must be very aware that at least 10 to 15 top ransomware attacks happened of the size of more than 50 to 60 million in a year. These ransomware threats bring down the business. They extort money and they make sure that your business is crippled. So as this theme of opportunities, as we are going to speak about it, we are going to speak about how we can leverage the new technologies, new platforms to build a secure business and to drive this secure business to a next level. Thank you.
Good evening, Hyderabad. I'm Nihar Pathare, Tech CEO and the Chief Information Security Officer at 63 Boons. I've been working with this company in the field of security and cybersecurity for the past 16 years with the same organization. A product company which now ventures into cybersecurity, and we have aiming to be India's largest cybersecurity company in the coming years. My presentation is not about what the company or the technology or what are the products offering, but I have curated this presentation that tells you what is coming in new from the world and what partnerships that we have, which are very unique. I was in Israel for the last 1 week, where we were talking on partnership and new products and outstanding technology that we are bringing into India. Before we get into that, I would ask my colleague to play a video which sums up our current situation globally and in the country, and what type of cyber security scams are happening here.
In the clandestine realm of hacking, digital breachers wield lines of code like swords, breaching impenetrable fortresses of data with cunning finesse. They navigate a labyrinth of cyber networks, exploiting vulnerabilities with a keystroke, orchestrating virtual heists that shake the very foundations of modern society and world economy. In recent years, organizations of repute, including the BBC, British Airways, Boeing, and IBM, have experienced data breaches after unfathomable ransomware attacks. It is believed that nearly 1 million WordPress sites have been affected by cyber attacks.
We are following information about a worldwide hacking attack where the criminals say that they will return stolen data after a ransom payment.
The extortion group gained access to sensitive and personal information through a file-sharing app called MoveIt.
Cyber criminals are not only targeting corporations, but also have their evil eye on the common man.
It's a scam happening all over the country, an account takeover fraud. It steals your money and all you can do is sit back and watch it disappear.
The situation in India is even more grave.
A fresh round of cyber attacks has been reported at India's premier medical facility. The cyber criminals had reportedly paralyzed all servers and demanded a ransom in exchange of returning the data access.
Cyber attacks against India increased by 278% between 2021 and 2023, with service-based companies, including IT and BPO firms, seeing the highest share of attacks. India has become the most targeted country globally, facing 13.7% of all cyber attacks. These incidents emphasize the statement made by India's Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Cybersecurity is no longer limited to the digital world only. It has become a matter of national security. All this makes cybersecurity paramount for any business or individual. By 2030, the value of the global cybersecurity market is estimated to be 42 lakh crore rupees, and India's cybersecurity market is estimated to reach 1 lakh crore rupees by 2029 from 39,000 crore rupees in 2024.
हेलो सर, आपको एक कॉल आपके कार्ड से संबंधित किया जा रहा है। सर, बताना चाहूंगी कि आपके खाते को 50,000 की लॉटरी लगी है।
ना किसी लिंक पर क्लिक किया, ना ही कोई मैसेज मिला, और पैसे रफू चक्कर।
Therefore, for complete protection from the infamous Jumtara-style frauds, India needs a vigilant and resilient cybersecurity force, like our border security force that safeguards our nation. We bring you that force in the form of 63 SATs, a leading-edge, avant-garde cybersecurity initiative that leverages the world-renowned, indomitable system architecture of its parent organization, 63 Moons Technologies. Founded by the visionary leader and tech genius, Jignesh Shah, it was our resilient cybersecurity force that shielded the multi-commodity exchange from millions of cyber attacks for 20 years. Banking on our illustrious credentials, the Israel government's former cybersecurity head, Mr. Yigal Una, who was directly reporting to Israel's prime minister, has joined us.
In order to ensure India's cyberspace is a much safer place, all of my connections and networking are available to Mr. Shah and his team as they work towards making India's cyberspace much safer.
Our unparalleled success and revered culture of innovation have attracted some of the leading cybersecurity firms in the world to partner with us for creating the best-in-class suite of products and services, such as CYBX for every mobile, 63 SATs for every enterprise server, and Cyberdome for every city, every state, and the country. Together, let's safeguard our country against cyber threats with our Cyberdome. Let's together create a decacorn story in the hectacorn universe.
So moving forward, I wanted to show you, these are the common frauds that we are facing in the country. Phishing, swim swap, OTP interception, in terms of forwarding your OTP messages, swapping your SIM card. Phishing is now on the older side, but now we have a new kid on the block, which is deepfake. And how deepfake is working is you're getting phone calls from maybe your wife, your husband, and the voice is absolutely the same. And they call you from a new number. Usually people don't pick up unknown numbers, but when the call comes in repeatedly, you finally end up picking up the call and you hear your relative or your friend saying desperately that their phone and the wallet was stolen and they would like you to transfer money to this number. So as a stranger has helped them to make this call. And it is impossible for the human hearing system to understand deepfake voices. So what we bring here is a deepfake voice-to-face technology. On the app, that CYBX app, I will tell you, show you a sneak preview later, but we are building this app with a voice detection, a fake voice detection technology. When an incoming call comes and someone talks to you, our technology will tell you it's a fraud call or if it is not a fraud call. Yeah? Only the machine can understand this. We counter AI with AI. And for the law enforcement agencies, if you see here, the technology goes so deep, it does voice-to-face profiling. So if you have a law enforcement agency which has a database of, let's say, 1 lakh photographs of known criminals, yeah, no one keeps voice samples as of date. You only have photographs in the system. So when someone comes to a police station or to a system saying this is a voice sample, this is a recorded voice which I recorded, someone gave me a ransom call, someone threatened me. You get this, put it into the system, it matches the face, it checks the voice, it draws a caricature that you see on the screen, and from there it matches the real face. Now this sounds like magic, but this is patented technology, and there are PhD voice engineers in Israel who are helping with this. This company, how they does it is they say that everyone's vocal cords are designed by the face structure, yeah, and the BMI of a person. Yeah, your voice changes if you lose weight by 20 kgs. Yeah, so this is how they profile and track. Very patented technology that we bring into our country soon. Next is on password. So password is something which has been bothering us for a very, very long time, right from the age of computers which they have started. And this is absolutely a new simplest form of passwordless technology, when you will say, when it's so simple, why was it not invented earlier? And it's called the symbol. So this is a no language solution. So you need not understand English or Telugu, or you have to have your password. It's only symbols. It does not have biometric data, so there is no privacy loss. It's a single step of authentication, and it also would be replacing OTP. It is so secured. I will show you a small video. You can click on the file.
These days, most users still authenticate themselves with the old traditional password method. But not only that human memory is limited, there are over 15 billion passwords totally exposed in the darknet to anyone interested. Moreover, around 80% of all cyber attacks originate from the endpoint user using passwords. You can choose to use biometrics as your identifying factor, but you can never know where your biometric data will find its way. Meet Seamania, a disruptive, passwordless solution. When registering, you first choose your secret symbol. Next, choose the length of your personal sequence. Now, you are ready to start a login session. Enter your username. Identify the location of your secret symbol and its random background color. On your smartphone, click on the matching location of the background color. Note, the symbols disappeared from the PC matrix and the colors are shuffled. On your smartphone, keep clicking on the matching location of the background color until the end of your personal sequence. Finally, click Done. And the verification is complete. The only way to crack Seamania is by physically obtaining the user's PC, smartphone, symbol, and sequence, all at the same time. This is the next generation of passwordless authentication. Seamania. Definitely you.
So this technology we bring in next month with trials from Windows to, it's already working with most of the cloud service providers, right from Salesforce to Amazon to Microsoft, and we bring this to the country. The next, I would say, is SIM swapping. So what happens is when a phone is stolen, a person changes the SIM card first and tries to operate it with the new SIM card. So this technology here, it binds all these 4 things that you see. First 3 of them are on the handle. The other 2 are with the service provider. If any of this combination changes on a phone, this would be locking your phone completely. Yeah, so you can be rest assured, even if your eSIM is transferred, it would not work. Yeah, so then we get into Senti Logics. This is the most secure banking transaction way. This technology will remove completely OTP from our life. This we have already done 90% of trials with SBI and talking with RBI on this. What happens here is it has advanced AI features. What it does is it gets into the KYC. When you do a payment from a wallet, let's say a Paytm or a Google Pay wallet, and someone is asking you money for it, it goes and checks the KYC and also flashes the user's photo, showing you that this is the person you are transferring to. Is it the girl that you are transferring to, or is it the Nigerian hacker who's behind it? Yeah. So it tells you clearly which the SIM card is and the KYC for that wallet is done. So you do not have OTP coming in. Other technologies that we get is face to access to allow staff seamlessly walk through. This is good. You don't need attendance controllers henceforth. We are using this technology at Mumbai airport. Yeah, it detects facial, it detects emotions of person. So at an airport, when you have a crowd management, you don't know how do you segregate a disgruntled person. This one gives a square, green frame or a red frame, saying that this is a happy person, this is a disgruntled, angry person. So security agencies could then filter down in finding out if someone is tensed or not entering. And one of this is we are using it into the advanced X-ray analysis. So most of the airports now in India, when you drop in a check-in bag, yeah, it goes down and then it is scanned. Okay, and there are officers sitting there who scan it, but it's still human errors can happen. So the software takes the scan, looks at it with AI, which keeps learning, and whenever there's a color change, it alerts saying that, so no human intervention is required for finding the smallest of things which are not allowed in a bag. This is, we are already using it in Mumbai. And this is the architecture that we have. We have group products, we have services, red teaming services, where we become ethical hackers and talk to companies saying that we breach the network like a hacker would breach your network and tell you that this is how and what things are. We have 100% success rate so far in this red teaming services, and we have tied up with multiple partners for this. So we start with Cyberdome, that we are talking for the B2G, for the government, that we have very unique propositions and software which are unheard in the enterprise section. We have CIBX is an app that we are launching in 3 months for the common man of the country. It's going to be the most disruptive app in the country, which is going to have a verified dialer. It's going to talk about your network usage, your data usage, how much is your memory usage, and also keep you away from phishing links, spamming links, and completely secure your cell phone. And 63 sats is for the enterprise B2Z. So can we play the CIBX before I close?
In a world where our lives revolve around our smartphones, it has become a gateway to our personal lives. But with this comes a number of threats: phishing links, untrustworthy QR codes, spam calls, and fraudulent messages. But fear not, because now there's a solution that puts your safety first. Introducing CYBX, your ultimate defense against digital threats. CYBX will shield you. The app will have the latest updated database of authorized numbers across different industries. It will flash authorized calls in green and other calls in red after matching it with the database. CYBX will detect and warn you about potential phishing attempts, ensuring you are saved from malicious links or scams. CYBX will also instantly identify and flag suspicious QR codes, removing the possibility of the user falling prey to any scam. But that's not all. CYBX also prevents fraudulent messages from hampering your day by flagging them. Also check unexplained spikes in network or memory usage through real-time graphs. Rest easy knowing that CYBX is constantly learning and evolving, staying one step ahead of emerging threats in the digital landscape. CYBX, your shield against digital threats.
That's it from my side. In the interest of time, I am here post the presentation. Then we can meet and talk up. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nihar. Thanks for the videos and all the things. May I request Mrs. Ramadevi ma'am, the Director Emerging Technologies and OSD to the IT department for a special address, please.
A very good evening to all of you. Well, I think most of the content that I actually prepared was actually spoken by all the speakers earlier, shared by all the speakers earlier. In fact, I've listed out certain challenges that each actors are facing and the solutions. But Nihar actually demonstrated all the solutions. Fantastic range of products and solutions that he has demonstrated. While all of us know technology has become pervasive in our lives, and day in day out we cannot live without technology. Our entire life is dependent on it, from making financial transactions, as somebody has said, with banking, credit cards, point of sale machines, the planes we fly, and the systems on which enterprises run, and the critical information infrastructure that the government manages or maintains. It could be power grids, water supply systems, and so on. While this entire thing is on technology, added to this is the advent of new technologies like AI, ML, IoT, connected devices, cloud security, as somebody has already mentioned. All these are exacerbating the cybersecurity, risk. And in line with this scenario, World Economic Report has come out with Economic Forum has come out with a report, that highlights cybersecurity as one of the top 10 risks the world is going to face. And cybersecurity is listed as one of the top 5, out of the 10 risks. So that is the state of scenario that we are looking at right now. And I appreciate ASSOCHAM, for organizing this event at the right time. I think, so that it creates awareness, understanding of the problems, challenges, and solutions. Well, as the earlier speakers have, mentioned, these threats, challenges, and opportunities are different for different actors in the ecosystem. So individuals, again, so much has been talked about, but yet while there are, solutions for every problem, to me personally, one challenging thing is social engineering. I think this particular incident that I want to share you might have faced, amongst your relatives, friends, and so on. One of my friend, she's high tech. She works in a reputed IT company. In fact, she organizes or conducts, she's an advocate of cybersecurity, conducts workshops in cybersecurity. And recently, she got a message from a US friend, saying that she's having some problem with a bank account and asked her to transfer 40,000. Without a thought, being an expert tech person, she just transferred $40,000 or something to the account. Then later she came to know it's a fake, and she didn't even realize that the number that somebody actually sent a message is not a friend's number. So how do technology or anything can really solve such psychological or emotional issues? I'm not sure. Maybe the industry can come out with solution. The experts, the startups, can come out with solution. That's one area that's really is challenging in the cybersecurity landscape. When it comes to enterprise level, I think Nihar has already spoken about a lot. So I'm just not, because in the interest of the time, I'm just cutting it short. But what I would like to say is, World Economic Forum has actually conducted a survey asking the top CEOs of the world, asking them what are the top concerns for them. So 3 top concerns have actually, were mentioned. Like the first one, again, it depended on where the leaders are coming from. For example, CEOs are leaders from Europe, North America. They said, their greatest concern is operational disruption. Whereas CEOs and leaders coming from, say, Asia or, Africa and so on, they said their concern is direct financial losses because of ransomware. So this is a different one. And leaders coming from the Middle East, they said their concern is about brand and reputational risk. So these concerns varied, depending on where the leaders are from. So, and the survey also asked them what is the overarching concern, for everybody. So, which personally kept them up at night, worrying, what is one thing that is actually worrying them. And they said losing access to products and solutions, or goods and services, and cyber extortion are the most concerning thing for them. So against this backdrop of scenario, what are the solutions? In fact, I don't have to now talk about the solutions, as Nihar has given some fantastic, indicated solutions. I was talking about implementing zero trust architecture and using, again, the hackers are using AI ML technologies. Why don't we also use the same technologies to actually come out with advanced threat prediction and response actions? So then there's another area very important for large organizations, especially as it is today. No company can work in silos, right? You have to work with your partners, vendors, and so many people out there. So while you can secure your organization by adopting best cybersecurity practices, tools, solutions, but how are you going to ensure that your third-party vendors also have this, or adopt these best practices? Because the weakest link is enough to bring down the entire supply chain. So probably that is an area that a lot of awareness, education, due diligence is required. Well, these are about enterprises that I talked about. Now coming to the government. Now the first big concern for the governments across the world is how to conduct free and fair elections. Probably ma'am can also agree with me. In fact, I think about 45 countries in the next 2 years are going for elections, and which actually determines who is going to govern the world's 50% of the GDP. So now already, I think he has already mentioned about deepfakes, a few areas, especially of risk, misinformation, disinformation. We have looked at, we have heard about certain examples. Deepfakes, as Nihar already mentioned, using voter details, for targeted advertisement, and especially algorithmic manipulation. And we have seen in certain social websites how it's being misused, to influence voters. So now that's the biggest concern for the governments across the world. How do we actually tackle those issues, and conduct free and fair elections? And the second one for the government is again geopolitical tensions. And we have seen this in Ukraine, how, Russia has actually used cyber attacks on Ukraine. And if at all, any country is going to attack on the critical infrastructure of the government, bringing down, our power systems, water supply systems, or it could even cause to loss of lives. So that's the second one. In fact, Mr. Obama, way back in 2015, he declared a national emergency, to deal with this cyber threats or cyber security. And our Prime Minister also mentioned the same, now more than the physical wars, it will be the cyber war. So, and we need to ensure that we are prepared for it. But amongst all these, negative things, attacks and all, I would say there's a silver lining for India. And what is that? Silver lining or opportunities that we are looking at is, it's a great economic opportunity for the country. As the cyber market is growing at a rate, maybe twice the rate of the IT industry growth rate. So that's a great opportunity for India. And he in fact has mentioned, but I have some numbers like 6 billion, is the market value that it's going to be for India. So to actually, that's the reason the government of India has come out with its own strategy paper, National Strategy in Cybersecurity. And as a state government also, I think Telangana was the first state to come out with a policy framework on cybersecurity. And in fact, we have set up a Center of Excellence in Cybersecurity. Dr. Sriram, he was here earlier, who heads the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence. But despite all these, the two biggest challenges again for us to navigate this or to seize these opportunities, and those two challenges are, one is shortage of talent. The report says there's a requirement of 1 million cybersecurity professionals. So all of you are, most of you are cybersecurity professionals. There's a great opportunity for your career growth and so on. But still, there is so much to be done in terms of improving the talent pool. And in the IT sector, we as India, we would like to make India as a talent hub, and in fact, McKinsey partner, Bob Stenlin, his name, he in fact last year said that I think it's around 20% of the workforce will be from India. It's not just cybersecurity, but I'm talking about the entire, IT. So if India is going to be the talent hub, we need to prepare our students, our workforce to meet the industrial needs. So that's one of the biggest challenge. And in fact, when our Special Chief Secretary Jayashankar Garu was Vice Chancellor of JNTU, he in fact made it mandatory that all the branches of engineering students should have a cybersecurity program. So they also get certain credits, for that. That actually adds to the talent pool, So those kind of initiatives are still required to be implemented in various universities. That is the first challenge, talent. Second is, report again says that, while large corporations are able to secure their systems well, they're cyber resilient, and all that, but MSMEs, who constitute a major percentage of companies, their cyber resilience has gone down in the last 2 years. And the reason was they're not able to afford, expensive resources or cost for either the talent or for the solutions. So there's a great opportunity for, again, our startups to come out with products and solutions that are affordable, and that can be made available, not just solving our problems in India, but again, making it available across the globe. So these two are the areas that the government need to work on. And our Center of Excellence has actually incubated about 45 startups so far in the cybersecurity space, and they're conducting many programs, workshops, for working professionals as well as for students. And there's another area that's also coming up. Most of you might be aware who are in cybersecurity. The government of India has come out with the DPDP Act. So privacy, jobs in those areas are also going to increase. So, but we need to again train our manpower or a talent in that. So finally concluding, as we integrate technology further into our lives, the risk further increases, no doubt about that. And cyber security is not all optional as on today. It's mandatory for everyone. So it must form part of every design of a system or an application or a communications, whatever, because you cannot retrofit cyber security later into a product or a solution. It has to start right from the design phase. And apart from this, through education, as earlier speakers have emphasized enough, education, awareness, and proactive change can actually address these challenges. And one of the most important needs, this is the last thing from my side, is collaboration between different organizations, government, foundations, and so on. Most of the companies, when they actually face this attack, they do not share this data because of fear of reputational risk. But you are giving an opportunity for the hacker to go to a next company and attack it. So collaboration is the key to solve one of the major requirements between different organizations to solve the security threats. So, and also the balance between privacy and security play a critical role. And especially collaboration, education and awareness, and balancing between privacy and innovation. The reason I'm mentioning balancing between privacy and innovation is, privacy and security is, we have GDPR. Again, companies have to invest a lot, to comply. Then our own DPDP. So somewhere they have to actually balance their costs and compliances. So these three things, I believe, are going to play a critical role in building a more secure cyber environment in the world. Thank you, Ashwacham, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. We are privileged to have you, ma'am. Thanks for your kind time and words for the cybersecurity and IT, ma'am. May I request respected Chicago, ma'am, Additional Director General Police, to please deliver her keynote address. Thank you, ma'am.
Cybersecurity is no longer just a subject or a topic which is discussed in boardrooms. It is now branded as the most significant threat to world order, with the ability to derail public utilities, the largest type, whether somebody spoke about the airports or the BBC or whatnot, or the electrical grid, or manufacture consent and affect elections. The threat is now discussed in the UN Security Council. In fact, just on the 4th of this month, the UN Security Council met to discuss evolving cyber threat landscape and its implication on maintenance of international peace and security. So that is the kind of importance of the world which we are living in. And one thing which came out very clearly in this meeting or the discussions was that the tools and capabilities which criminals are using to do low intensity crimes, what previous speakers were talking about, all different types of crimes which are, whether it is the OTP or whether it is the FedEx or whether it is the courier fraud, whatever, the investment fraud. So what this conference revealed, that these same tools can also be actually used to destabilize nations and governments. So this is what is critical. Although today, since I head the Cyber Bureau, and I am not going to be talking too much about the cyber crimes, which are the ones which we were talking about till now, and concentrate more on the security aspect, this is the reality. This talks about the magnitude of loss. So it is estimated that by 2035, the damages which cyber crimes would have caused would cross about $10.5 trillion. So if it would be a country, it would be the third largest economy in the world if we treat it as a country. Even the biggest of the companies do not have a net worth which crosses more than $4 trillion. So this is the magnitude of cyber crimes which is going to be happening. Dr. Sriram was here. I don't see him now. But a report by the DSI recently, it talked about almost 16,000 cyber security incidents during a 12-month period of their study. The average cost of a data breach as per the IBM is about $4.35 million average per breach. This is the kind of economical implication it has. And then, as we've discussed, and my earlier speakers, it's not that it's a threat only to an individual but organizations, but it is also to the government itself. In fact, the Canadian government has recently come out with a report in which they have stated that their last elections were manipulated by China by using non-state actors as well as AI-enabled social engineering tools. So, we were talking about, we have recently our Prime Minister talking about his deep fake being used for election. So the Canadians have already come out with a report. Now, among the domestic players, 90% of the organizations identified email as the most critical cyber attack pathway. And over 80% marked phishing as the biggest threat. Now, when it comes to the threat, there's a huge list. You can see almost 15 of which I have listed on this slide, but there are many more. So from hacking to malware and phishing, which constitute almost about for 85% of the different threats which happen, the zero-day exploits and the possible misuse of AI is something which is fast gaining ground presently. Now, these are some of the major data breaches incidents which have occurred across the globe. And we all know that as far as we are concerned, our vaccination database as well as our Aadhaar database is out in the open. And if any of you had ever been treated in AIMS, then possibly your health profile is up for sale somewhere. Now, if we look at this, some two major AIMS. I'm sorry, again we are coming to AIMS, and Near also talked about AIMS, but probably this is one which really awakened us. In 2022, 40 million health records of AIMS were breached. And why did this breach happen? This happened because of improper network segmentation and non-functionality of critical application. Similarly, in 2019, both AP and Telangana, the state power utility servers were affected by a ransomware attack. And what it was is because a gullible employee clicked on an email which had a virus, a link which had a virus. So, when we studied various major cyber attack incidents across the world, what one thing it shows is that there is always a Vibhishan who opens the door for entry into the Lanka Nagari. It is not something very high-tech. It is basically an outdated firewall or an unprotected port. Nothing very complex, just that the basic cyber hygiene was not followed. Incidentally, 96%, if you see that right, 96% of breaches happen due to human error. And 44% of targeted breaches or attacks are through employees' emails. And now these breaches have real life consequences. It affects everyone, affects you and me, all of us. From when the big basket data got breached some time back, the Flipkart account of thousands of users were hijacked and COD orders were placed. Just because, why? Because you use the same password on both the sites. So this is how, and in fact, if you ask me, probably I would have same password in all my sites today. So with a population of more than 140 crores, today we account for 46% of all digital payments in the world. So everyone, whether rich or poor, educated or uneducated, doctors or engineers, Ramadevi was just talking about how her friend who's a IT professional transferred. So in fact, when we analyze the crime, especially the investment frauds which are happening, which are the highest, the top 5 trending MOs presently in Telangana, the investment fraud, can you imagine who are the victims maximum? They are software engineers. So it is not, it really doesn't matter how educated or how aware you are, although we're talking a lot about cyber awareness, there is something at that point of time that everything fails. Now, I'm sure that everyone in this room must have received either a WhatsApp or call or an SMS or an email or anything offering you some benefit, something or the other. Okay. And why? Because our data is out there. And therefore, there are all kind of players who are using all kinds of frauds and crimes, committing crimes using this data which is available out there. So while it is important that, as individuals, we adopt the basic do's and don'ts for safety, whether it is two-factor authentication, A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, whatever, as organizations which are custodian of data of millions of our customers, it is our moral and ethical responsibility to ensure that our systems are protected against unauthorized access. And this is why that the government of India came with the DPDP Act, which I was talking about. Now, this talks about the rights and duties of organizations and individuals in safeguarding the data of the citizens to which they are privy to, because which is what you keep. So it is our responsibility. So as an organization, it is essential that we have some cyber security capability model which works for you. I'm not saying that A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z is a model, but everyone should have, every organization, a model which works for you, which should largely be on what is shown in the slide. For example, covers the aspect about the governance, the product and application security, testing, certification, etc., etc. Now, we at the being the nodal agency in the state for cyber security, we are implementing various measures for the police department, which are enumerated on the slide, whether it is having a SOC, whether we're doing penetration testing, we've released cyber hygiene guidelines for the police, whether it would be cyber audits, which we are going to be conducting, and also building our capabilities to investigate when any of such incidents happen anywhere across any sector in the government or in the private in future. In fact, the CERTIN has come out with detailed guidelines of how you can protect, or what individuals can do and organizations to protect their from breaches and different kinds of attacks. And I'm sure many of you in this room must have read that, and if you haven't, then please, it's a publicly available document, please go through it. And that would something will, can give you a real insight on what should be done by each one of us in our own organizations. They say that every difficulty brings about an opportunity, and therefore the cyber security ecosystem is one of the fastest growing markets presently. The Indian cyber security market grew from 2 billion to 6 billion in 2023, almost a 3 times jump. And if you look at the services, then the security operations accounted for almost 45% of the spend of the various companies when we're talking about services. So all of you here who are in the business of service providers or solution providers, you are definitely in the right business at the right time. And as far as our request goes from the side of the police and the Cyber Security Bureau, is that we welcome anyone who is there to offer solutions, anyone who can offer expertise to the police, because this is a new area, this is an emerging area. As police officers, we are definitely not experts in this field. We always look forward to people like you in this room who are experts to offer us solutions, and as obviously solutions which are affordable, solutions which can be used for masses. So these are the solutions we look forward to, and also expertise for us in case there is a cyber attack, there's a ransomware attack, in mitigating those attacks. So we definitely look forward to collaborating with people who can help us with their services and products. As a beginning, I welcome anyone through the SOCHAM if they want to come and visit the Cybersecurity Bureau, which is at the Command and Control Center at Banjara Hills, the iconic building. And we can collaborate with whoever. We are free to please share if anybody would like to share any proposals, any demonstrations. This is an area where one thing is really certain, that we cannot live in silos, and unless and until we cooperate and collaborate, the industry, the departments, the government, probably we will never be ahead of the criminal. Thank you for having me here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, and thanks for the kind words, ma'am. And we are thanks for providing an opportunity for the association and association members to work with you, ma'am. We definitely take the pleasure working with you, ma'am. Please, may I request Mr. Rambabu garu to please have a memento to ma'am. On behalf of ASSOCHAM, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each of you for gracing our inaugural session on cybersecurity, challenges and opportunity with your presence and active engagement. Today's interactive session marked the beginning of an alignment journey into the complexities of cybersecurity, where we collectively explored the challenges and promising opportunities that lie ahead in the safeguarding of digital world. And I would like to express our deepest appreciation to our distinguished speakers and panelists, Ms. Shika Goyal ma'am, Mr. Rambabu garu, Mr. Manoj, Mr. Deepak Mishraji, Mr. Nihar Patare, and respected ma'ams, and Mr. Ramadevi ma'am, and also to all the key people participation. Ma'am, really your insights, expertise, and experience has been instrumental in shaping up today's discussion and enriching our understanding for this critical domain. A sincere thank for your to all the partners for their unwavering support and commitment to promoting cybersecurity awareness and collaboration. Your partnership has been indispensable in making this event a resounding success. I also extend my gratitude to each attendees for your active participation, thought-provoking and enthusiastic involvement throughout the session. Your engagement has been truly inspiring, has contributed immensely to the success of the inaugural session. As we conclude the inaugural session, let us carry forward the knowledge gained and the connections forward, empowering ourselves to navigate the evolving landscape in cybersecurity with vigilance and business. And also, we are very much active and request if anyone would like to actively work and collaborate with the Chicago ma'am, we request to please let us know. We are very much happy to work with ma'am and take the advisors and input suggested ahead. Thank you for all your unwavering dedication to advancing cybersecurity excellence. Here to continued collaboration and progress in our collective efforts to create a safer digital future to all. Thank you and thanks to all.
Now we are starting the section section on cybersecurity challenges and opportunities. Now I request Mr. Daniel to please come on the stage, and Dr. Anil, and also request Dr. Anil, and also request Advocate Prashant Mel and Professor M.V. Panduranga Rao, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for staying. It's very late, I know. And you are my heroes now. But I want to, first of all, introduce myself. The only one without a PhD on this stage. So excuse me for that. My name is Daniel Keshet. I was born and raised in Israel most of my life. During my career life, you could say, I worked for the Israeli government, starting from the military, last position at the Prime Minister's office in the cybersecurity division. And I was lucky to come for the second time in my life to work in India, this time in Mumbai, for 63 Moons, specifically 63 SATs, the cybersecurity department. And there I'm looking after the cybersecurity strategy and alliances. So this is about me. I'm lucky to have here alongside of me advocate Dr. Prashant Mali, who's a cybersecurity law expert and a lawyer, and Dr. Anil Rachmala, I hope I got that right, founder and CEO of the And Now Foundation, and I think a very famous speaker and writer, you could say, more than 500 articles, if I remember correctly. So you'll hear from him. And Professor M.V. Panduranga Rao from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at the IIT Hyderabad. So thank you again for being here with us. Dr. Anil, let's start with you. First of all, if you could give us a short address about yourself, your organization, please.
A very good evening. So I am the odd man out here. Probably, yes, I understand about security. I have quite a lot of certifications, but I came here to represent an organization called End Now Foundation, which is basically a civil society. I was a victim myself, and then in 2012, then put up an organization and wanted everybody to be safer. So we are probably the Asia's only internet ethics and digital well-being experts. And of course, I finished my PhD in cybersecurity as well. Though my job is different, I work as a vice president handling SAP and Oracle. Very different profile. As I said, I am an odd man out. So I've been writing, I've been talking, I've been part of a lot of initiatives. I've written probably around about 580 plus weekly articles. I've written 20 books. 7 states police officers refer to my books that I've written in terms of standard operating procedures. And we talk more not in terms of cyber security and safety, but we talk in terms of digital well-being. We talk in terms of more of how to manage your privacy, how to manage your consent, what people talk about digital addiction, parenting is there. So wide range of topics, and we talk about how to be safe from social engineering crimes. We'll talk in terms of how to improve our digital intelligence, not to lose your privacy or consent. So wide variety of thing. In principle, we kind of try and ensure that you don't fall to a crime and maintain that digital hygiene online. So thank you, Asucham, for inviting me. And I'm sure I was told it's an individual talk, but it's looking like a panel discussion. So I was not prepared for it. I would, if given an opportunity, then I could do a presentation on digital well-being.
Good evening. I know this panel is standing between you and dinner. So whatever we say, we should say to you, which could serve to you and your mind as soup. So, you could eat better. And giving you the cybersecurity soup is the most dangerous soup to have, because it comes with its own poisons which affect your money, specifically losses when it comes to your pocket, right? So anyways, he just told me to introduce, I am advocate Dr. Prashant Mali, and I practice in Mumbai High Court, and I'm author of few books and speaker, and my specialization is tech law and data privacy.
I'm from the academia. I'm M.V. Panduranga Rao from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of IIT Hyderabad. Our involvement as far as cybersecurity is concerned, I'll probably elaborate on this a little bit more later, is basically that we have started offering a master's program in networks and information system security, networks and information security. And this comes out of the program was conceived as a response to the growing demand in terms of technical manpower in security. A couple of things that I would like to speak about. One is basically firstly, let me just quickly talk about the master's program, right? In networks and information security. So it's a 2 years program, as typically master's programs are, and it's and then considering the fact that you would need expertise for such a program from various uh, uh, aspects of engineering as well as mathematics, statistics, etc. So the eligibility criteria, etc., have been set, have been. So, for example, for a master's in computer science, we would insist on masters in computer science, IT, and so on. But here, the eligibility criteria are more because we recognize the fact that expertise from various disciplines, mathematics, statistics, etc., is also important. Even electronics, to that for that matter. But having said that, so I would like to talk about the challenges that the academia faces in terms of cybersecurity specifically. As many people have mentioned this evening, there is a huge skilling gap. There's a huge demand-supply gap as far as cybersecurity professionals is concerned, and that extends all the way to higher education. So, for instance, if you look at for instance, in computers in India, as is probably the case elsewhere in the world, if you talk about certain aspects of security, like cryptography, right, for instance, cryptology, cryptanalysis, and so on, there is sufficient talent pool. Right, so you have because it kind of mostly involves mathematics, and we are Indians. Many of us are very good at mathematics, so you get many people naturally gravitate to cryptology and cryptography and so on. So there it's still okay, but when it comes to practical aspects of the kind that was discussed, 63 moons, the kind of things that they are doing, we don't have the PhD pipeline which leads us to for faculty members, right? So we don't have. We always look out for faculty members who are very good in the practical aspects of system security, network security, and so on. It's not that easy to come by. So that translates to the fact that our program, for example, Masters in Networks and Information Systems, Information Security, is a very good program. It has we give very good training in things like cryptography, some aspects of network security, some blue skies things like quantum communications and quantum crypto systems and so on, quantum networks and so on. But when you talk about the very practical aspects of security, we are kind of found I would say we are lacking there, and that translates to the supply chain of professionals. We cannot really contribute that much to the common man awareness increment, in the sense that you don't click on any link that comes. In fact, some of us have fallen victim to that. So that's not really our expertise. Educating the common man is not really our expertise. So part of that is probably because of several reasons. One of the things that I would right now probably be able to, and the other thing is I would like to also mention about the people have said that they have started programs in masters. So Ramadevi ma'am was saying that the problem is that in many of these things, right, the curriculum is not very curriculum is good in theory. A lot of crypto systems, lot of technical stuff is taught, but when it comes to actual practical experience, solving real life cybersecurity problems, working with real data sets, etc., I think there is a huge gap out there. So the curriculum in theory is good. The basic fundamentals are kind of probably taught, but the next step, which is really the crucial step as far as security is concerned, is basically exposure to practical. This thing is kind of lacking, is what I would say. The other thing is that to my knowledge, there is not the amount of interaction that happens between the industry and academia in India in cybersecurity is not as much as it should be. Right. So, for example, many of the problem statements discussing before that, for instance, you do spectrographic analysis of the voice texts, and there are PhDs from Israel in the Israeli universities who are working on that. We don't have that kind of a connect as of now. at least to the extent that is desired. So there is a gap. There is a communication gap. There are no problem statements. Data sets, as somebody mentioned, data sets are not shared because of privacy concerns and various regulations and so on. So that actually adds to the lack of training this thing. What we are good at is basically solving blue sky problems, so to speak, right? So you look at things like problems in cryptology, lightweight cryptography. There are so many problems that are in the academic realm. Quantum cryptography, quantum key distribution systems, analysis of their safety, etc. We are good, but when it comes to practical aspects, I think there's a lot to be desired. So that's where I just presented the challenges out here that ails the cyber security scenario in the academia. Opportunities are also there. There are so many skilling that, as people have said, that a lot of skilling needs, and we can do, and so on.
In the field of cybersecurity, I would like you, Dr. Anil, to share with us your insights on digital well-being.
Yeah, digital well-being is a very wide topic, So I've prepared almost like 25 plus slides. So I'll try to slice it, and to basically what we are trying to talk about it is we're trying to personal well-being, your life well-being, your work well-being, your communication well-being, everything comes in. The whole gamut. It doesn't talk about safety and security. It talks about in terms of how to manage your privacy, how to manage your consent. People are very, very funny right now. So if you look at the age that I've come from, I have waited for almost 7 hours to make a telephone call to my mom. It's called trunk call. We never had a dial pad. Then probably I was from a middle-class family, high middle class. So I had the opportunity to dial something called a lightning call, which is 6 times the cost of it. And I had to wait for 2 hours. So vis-a-vis now, technology is completely very different. 7 microseconds, you can call. I have a girlfriend called Siri on my phone. I have another girlfriend called Alexa at my home who just dials in 7 microseconds. The world is completely gone. I still remember going to the bank, asking my dad to do a money order. My father used to yell on the phone saying, "It take me 2 hours to do that." So you can just sit on your Western commode and do a billion transactions right now. So the world has made us much more easier. So basically, the whole idea of trying to talk about digital well-being is to enable us to how better we can use technology. For example, kids, I don't know, some of you are young. They're able to scroll even before they can crawl, right? So people proudly put it on. I'm something very astonishing. I'm a social activist, so I'm a little harsh on how society thinks. How many of your students are in international schools here? Any international students are there? Nobody? I'm telling you, just open the Instagram and type confession pages and presidents of the institution. You will be surprised and amazed to know what kind of narrative and viewpoint kids have right now. It is beyond your imagination. I'm telling you, if anybody has Instagram, just go and watch. You will not be able to sleep for the next 2 days. And that's the kind of environment that we are into, because there is no formal education system. You're not because if you, for example, I had to drive the police fellow. Had to wait, 30 days of waiting, then test, and then, of course, I went onto the field to drive. For formal education of how to handle smartphone technology, nobody knows. And it doesn't mean that I say nobody should use smartphone and social media. So, see, basically, I'm an immigrant. So, for me, narrative, thought process about how to use technology is quite very different. I never sat with my dad to watch a television. My son comes who is first engineering. He grabs the remote when I'm watching. I says, "Bro, communication has changed, thought process, and everything has changed." I think we need to be little focused in what we do. So, along with technology, a lot of problems came. Fortunately, Chicago just left, so I can talk more nonsense here. So, if you look at the crimes that are happening right now, be it romance, be it sextortion, be it anything, or e-commerce fraud, or any fraud, task-based fraud, you just paid for the likes, anything. The recent FedEx scam. How many of you seen today's advertisement on Times of India? How many of you seen the advertisement of this? What is the next ad besides our announcement? Anybody has seen Times of India? Nobody has seen? Yeah, yeah. He's talking about FedEx scam. That is where we are right now. FedEx is terrified, being a foreign company, is terrified of what is happening in India, and we have not still waked up. Nobody is woken up. I have written probably thousands of emails and letters, met every person in the almost in 7 states, asking them to create a council and a portal, digital. We have that content, which we wanted to do. We wanted to institutionalize that. Our advertisement is 1/4 page calling security professionals like you, and there's a 1/4 page on the left side talking about FedEx scams. Imagine where we are and what we are talking right now. So what I'm trying to talk about is, unfortunately, we are measured by likes and comments. You can be a riffraff or a vagabond, have 100 million followers, and you're respected very heavily only. So I don't have followers. I'm not Upal Balu who like to have more followers. So I'm an idiot who has authored books and, Anyway, so what I'm trying to tell is, whatever you're seeing, you're not able to believe right now. You're not able to believe. Because the days have gone from Photoshop to deep fakes, now AI fakes have come. I'm sorry, the honorable member has actually given a very great presentation, but it takes me less than $50 to spoof an email and an SMS. I can just tell there's a very famous scam which actually happens continuously on a daily basis, that if one of the vice president's finance is out of leave because high network individuals are targeted, it's called spearheading. So what the gambler does is sends an email stating that please transfer money 5 lakhs. Because his boss is not there. As soon as he gets a red acceptance mail, he will send a spoofed SMS, you idiot, how much time does it take to forward money? And he will transfer minimum average 5 to 10 lakhs. And I'm telling you, if you go to any cybercrime police stations, average complaint for this fraud is minimum 10 people who are coming and complaining. Imagine India is a very conservative country. People don't come and complain. Imagine there are hundreds of frauds happening. Sextortion fraud, even task-based fraud. I'm telling you, 96.7% we can quantify. Sanpreet Singh was the IPS officer then. We did a survey. We have found out that all of them are very highly intellectual. I'm telling you, if you have time, cybersecurity professionals, we're talking about great products, we're talking about great technology, but that is not of use to the common man. Is there something that can be built, like wonderful product talking about SIM swapping, identifying, something like that which can be of use to people should be done. Anyway, so I've taken much time. Maybe the next speaker will speak, and if given a chance, then I'll have much more to talk.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anil. So what I'm taking from what you said is basically the decentralization of everything. Decentralization of education, so every influencer now can speak on whatever they want, and thousands, or in India we speak in hundreds of thousands of kids are going to take this as truth. Same thing about journalism. Everyone can be a journalist, post something, regardless if it's true or not. And this is the area of fake news that we're getting into. And of course, the decentralization of crime. I mean, organized crime today is probably accounting for a minimal number of the entire crime that's going on, especially when you look at all those frauds. And I remember, reading the papers and seeing that, like 50 something crores were stolen from a big pharma company. And I'm thinking to myself, if such an amount would have been robbed from a bank, then probably the chairman of the bank, chief of police, head of security, a bunch of people would have been, shown the door and would not be part of the organization. But for some reason, we have the tendency to take things lightly because it's digital, because it's just numbers that move from here to there. And of course, this company, obviously the share stock price down because of this happening. And again, the decentralization of crime is also the decentralization of our accountability. And I would like to hear from Dr. Prashant Mali about the law that is behind it, and maybe allowing or not allowing. And from your experience, what do you think is going to be the future of the law regarding cybercrime?
Cybersecurity and the crime associated with it. As you saw past presentations also, the weakest link which is being talked about constantly is the human dimension. The human dimension of cybersecurity is less talked or never taken as a challenge and worked on it. If you see our researches, if you see our startups, they are majorly based on solution to problems via technology. And the problem today when it comes to the cyber crime industry lies with the human dimension, the human part of it. The majority of the crimes which earlier speakers were talking about lies in the human domain. It is because of social engineering. Cyber is used as aid to commit such kind of crimes. But why is it happening? It's happening because of greed of the person who is the victim. Second is better social engineering of the person who is being trained to do. Working in so many cases, I have found out when we raided a call center, on one floor there was a trainer training how to defraud victims. What should they say? What shouldn't they say? How should they work on their minds? How should they exploit the culture to which they belong to? So, issue is with social engineering. People need to be trained. Awareness is the key. Awareness in vernacular languages is the key. Awareness in rural areas is the key. Now the major frauds are happening in rural areas. Major frauds are happening with educated people. Also, like all the stock market scams are happening with educated people. I have case where person has lost 4.5 CR. 4.5 CR, knowledgeable person. I have a case that day of 7.8 CR. He was ex-stockbroker. Just imagine, he was ex-stockbroker. He used to work for stock market and he gets conned on this, with an app. And so this too much trusting on technology, which we have all started, has also to be reduced. Too much trusting technology is also leading to too much amount of cyber crimes. See, if you go to mobile phone for every solution, like every solution you try to find one app. So if you try to find one app for everything, or you try to find every answer from Google, then definitely you will get conned by constars, because if you're trying to look for a positive answer from a Google, there are negative people sitting there to exploit your positive search. So this is the simple mentality. So you want to search something, you want to go in, for a hotel, and you search about a hotel and what is the price. Somebody else is there who is conning you by a fake phone number. So everything is mapped. Human beings, and now AI is enabling all this to commit frauds. So AI-based cybercrime. AI-based cybercrime, where AI bots are being used. Now instead of having this Jamtara-based people, you will have AI-based bots who will actually defraud you, and things have started. AI-based gambling is started. AI-based, betting has started. These are next generation of frauds. Generative AI. Gen AI is the biggest threat right now we are facing in the cyber world. China embezzling your elections is the next frontiers we will everywhere we will see. How to fight with it is a different challenge altogether. When it comes to law, there are issues. Now, what are law-based issues? First of all, in India, when you try to register an FIR, issue starts with there. Police don't want to register FIR. See, there could be many portals you will have. You have cybercrime.gov.in is the portal, but what is it for? It is a complaint portal. You put in your complaint, FIR doesn't get registered. People are happy that I have registered a complaint. But where is the FIR? Because the justice starts post FIR. So one is this issue. Second is 1930 is another number which you have. That is one challenge. 1930 you call. Sometimes you don't hear people talking your language. And 1930 is not working after, it works only for 8 to 12 hours. It doesn't work 24 hours. That's a problem. Getting solutions from government machinery getting justice is the biggest problem which cybercrime. First problem is they don't understand whether they are victim. Second is when they don't understand whether it was a cybercrime. Third is when they go to police will try to shoo away that this is not their jurisdiction. The crime has happened in Japan, so go in Japan and complain, or go in Mumbai and complain. So they'll try to shoo away with 101 different excuses. So these are all challenges what a common man faces. So we need to work weird of this. Next comes law. Law in its own sections is enough. Problem is about implementation. The implementation of law and convictions is a problem because enough people are not punished. Therefore, there is no deterrence of law right now when it comes to cybercrime. Cyber criminals commit cybercrimes in one state, and when they get bail, they go to another state scot-free to commit different other cyber crimes. So it is the whole big gang of cyber criminals operating in whole region. There is a region now established. I have put it on my detailed post is on my LinkedIn. If you can refer to my LinkedIn post, I have given different states and different places in different states where cyber criminals have established their proper dens. And from, even truck drivers have become cyber criminals. It's very easy, do cyber crime. And when police comes to you, take the truck and go for 2-3 months of drive. So you lose on the people. Police keeps chasing you. So now this is proper MO has been devised to loot people in India and abroad. So, and I can keep talking because my topic is cybercrime. So if you want to be aware about law, what has been presiding, always read what lawyers write on internet and don't keep reading whatever you get. So reading what lawyers write about cybersecurity is very important when you start writing.
I'll add to what you said. So India has become an industry right now. So you go to Google, YouTube and type scammer, India comes. It's not the Nigerians. So Telugu, I'll tell it in Telugu. This area, the fruits are better. This area, banana is better. So if you get a sextortion crime, you know from which place it has come from. It is an American crime which talks about Microsoft support or let's say IRS, then you know which place it is, either Pune or it is Gurgaon. So I can tell which fraud which is. So it's an industry. It was only basically, what is that serial which is there in Jamtara in, you should know, if you watch that movie, serial, you will know how to do crime. I think that's better than doing all these jobs. Anyway, so average person earns per day is 32 lakhs as a target given to each person. Anyway, so there was a formal training happened across all the cities, which is 60,000 rupees. But if you go to, for how to do frauds, if you do it, if you pay 15,000 in Rajasthan, it is less. If you go there and take a hotel, it's 15,000. So with returns. So a lot of the crime has evolved. So India is no more tech guys. I believe first time I went to US is in 94. So I still remember now it's not the same respect that we get from, especially when you tell that you are a tech guy. So very, very ugly kind of situations right now. Bharatpur, I can talk about, so many things are there. But anyway, so people are giving more importance. And what I look at when he's talking about 1930, which is Citizen Financial Fraud Management System, you call 1930 FIR, it doesn't get sent to converted to FIR. And the money, most of the victims call me. If I go for a TV debate, I'll get 100 people who are calling me and I tell them it's Govinda. Put the money, it's gone. So 99% is very, very difficult. We know there are a lot of challenges from the government side also. I can explain more in detail during the dinner time. Anybody can talk. But technology has given us a lot of gifts. So my brother is there at the last, is Dr. Vijay, who is, I wish he's one of our trustees. So when I enter into his room, the entire family has got some 14 doctors. So first there's a disease called Dr. Google. So software engineers have the habit of, telling the doctor what is the disease to himself. So there's a Truman Show illusion. He feels very privileged. He feels that he is superior. There's another disease called Facebook depression. He gets depressed because unfortunately we are measured by likes and comments, right? So even Prime Minister was afraid of influencers. He had to convene a full day meeting with influencers and gave awards to all his followers. And most of them were BJP people, sorry. So anyway, so everybody is terrified because the propaganda can happen. Everything here can happen. So even girls put a lot of selfies. It's also a disease called body dysmorphia. I can talk about it separately. We can have a psychiatrist also talk about it. But overall, in terms of, how we are relating technology. The digital well-being plays a very important in terms of how to manage yourself. It's not about addiction, managing smartphone. You should know. My daughter has finished her architect, and when she was in 10th class, she's finished a master's in architect. So when she was in 10th class, there was a competition, and somebody got a first prize, Camlin, for drawing. And I don't want to name that school. It's Hyderabad-based school. And they put up in social media, it was not very famous that time, stating that he got the first prize. And the original owner of the picture actually gave a notice, copyright notice. The whole school was shuttered. If the student would have known that what happens if copyright protected material is happening. All this learning, what I'm trying to tell is, all this learning only comes from digital well-being. It's not about trying to be safe, wear helmet, buy antivirus. No, common sense is not there for all of us. So the common sense is built up only because of the awareness and knowledge that we have. So we are also trying to build a portal I'm right now on board of studies for almost like 17, including engineering and universities. Wherever I could push, I pushed it. But some people, I don't want to shy away. If anybody wants to support our foundation, we can build a portal and give it free of cost to the entire public in India. So we can do that. Anyway, so last question, but not the least, is that we should know how to manage technology better. I'll add two humors to it. So if you go to a marriage, for example, if you go to a Christian marriage or a Hindu marriage, anything. So the first kiss is most important for them. So instead of the first kiss, they focus more on the selfie. So where are we? Where are we going? How do we manage this? What is important? You go to a movie, they start taking movies, right? You watch them. Anyway, there's a life going on, you can take a bite about it. So you have to balance yourself in terms of how to use technology. I said, definitely, I'm a technical person. I'm heading Oracle and SAP. I know how much benefited because of technologies, but all of us do not know how to manage. I know there are gurus, there are big guys, there are a lot of, I'm a CISA by the way, anyway, certified. There are a lot of very highly educated people here, but the most important point that I would like to tell is common sense is missing in all of us. I do agree, there are great products that are built, it's a wonderful opportunity for everybody, and whatever that video that he has shown, if that works, I'm telling you, most of us would get benefited. As part of CSR, if you could release some of the features free of cost on Android and iStore, I think some basic features at least, as a teaser to do it, I think that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, and by the way, interesting thing that a lot of great things happening around. I just closed it by half a minute. We were doing some work on cyber-enabled human trafficking. It was US-funded project that we were doing. And the moment you talk about human trafficking, what do you think? It's just prostitution or slavery, right? Now it is enhanced with technology. So what they're doing right now, surrogacy is what is happening right now. You know what surrogacy? Organ trading is happening. People have been pulled from Turkey. People from under Mahesh Bhagwat sir's leadership, I think more than 100 people have been brought back from Dubai and Turkey because they have a legal allowance of doing organ trading. Surrogacy, you see Lambadas from Medak district, they're captured and they're asked to carry and their money is given. And furthermore to it, there's a forced cybercrime happening. People go with fake jobs to Vietnam, Thailand and Philippines. They are actually smuggled from there to Burma, Rangoon, which is what's called, what is the name? Myanmar. Now it's called Myanmar. We call it Burma because you old person, Buddha. So Myanmar, people have been called back. They were actually asked to stay in the water up to this feet for 12 hours or pay 4-5 lakhs ransom from. There are registered FIRs right now. So technology is not only creating greater benefit, but it is also creating indirect benefit to the scammers and everybody. So I think that everybody here, I'm not sure if you agree or not agree with the experience that I come from with 8.5 years of a foundation. We have filed pills, PILs in Supreme Court. We've done so many things. And we think that awareness is the key. Definitely products. Compliance is also not that great. As I rightly agree, you file a complaint, nothing will happen. But there's a problem to it. I can explain during the dinner what is the problem of the police authorities as well. Anyway, this is a wonderful opportunity given to me. And thank Assocham, thank everybody, all people. Chatterjee who referred me here. And I worked very closely with all the people that sat here. And I'm sure, going forward, if our system does anything, I would like to join with them. Thank you. Namaskar.
We'll benefit from you speaking about the Israeli cyber systems, cyber security ecosystem.
All right. I'll try to keep it very brief because, as I said, you're my heroes. 1 hour late, 9 p.m., food is getting cold outside, but the room is full, and I think this is the success of this panel. I'll say very briefly, of course, I will take any questions later on dinner, but Israel is the size in terms of population of about, I don't know what's the size of how many people live in Hyderabad? 20 million? Something like that. So Israel population is 10 million people. Okay, this makes the biggest difference. It's very easy for my good friend that you saw in the video earlier and mentor, Mr. Igal Luna. He was the head of the Israeli National Cyber Directorate. For him, it was very easy. He found a breach in a company. His team picked up a phone, called the companies, told them, look, you have a loophole, breach, whatever. There's, foreign hackers or APTs looking at your system. Close it. If you can't close it, we'll help you to close it. That's it. 10 million people, it's very easy for the central government to reach to each and every one and try to mitigate the problem. Of course, it's not 100%. It's 99%, which is pretty much the success rate of the Iron Dome and rest of the layers that you saw actively intercepting the Iranian missiles last Saturday. And with that approach, the Israeli cybersecurity is known to be very resilient. This is one point. Second point is that us Israelis, we have to go to the military. Now, we can debate whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I really enjoyed my service. And but the point is that the military has access to the best manpower and brains, because everyone is going through a selection process that starts at the age of 17 when you're almost in your final year of high school, and it takes you to a series of tests and divert you to let's say a military unit that you will be able to practice your expertise at the best. Now, it sounds funny because, come on, none of us is expert at anything at the age of 17. However, you need only a handful of people who are very talented and gifted. And therefore, the military has the primary access to those people. And those become the core of the military units that create the most sophisticated and advanced cybersecurity tools. When they finish their service, they join a company or start a company and create something that is then being sold to the world. And this is pretty much what we're doing here at 63 Sats. We just came back from Cybertech in Israel last week. So we saw, very mind-blowing cybersecurity solutions. Now we're bringing them to the Indian market. So I'll just summarize with these 2 points. This is just tip of the iceberg about the Israeli cybersecurity and innovation. Lots of very interesting topics we discussed here. And the fact that there's no one vacant seat here is the proof of this, of the high interest that you as an audience shown in us. So thank you very much for that. I want to thank you, all of you, for the very wise words and lessons that you gave us. Not fake news. So, you can really trust on what those people say. take with a pinch of salt whatever I'm saying, but anyways, we can discuss further later over dinner. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Manoj sir is here. He has lot of interesting case studies. Probably who are head of security can also spend some time with him during dinner. We were very impressed with the kind of exposure that he has got. I think it will open a lot of insights for all of you. Sir, please spare some time with all of us.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Daniel, and thank you, Dr. Anil Garu, Dr. Mali, and Professor M.B. Pandurangara Garu for the interesting session. The session seems to be more interesting, like a crime thriller story. So really, the cybersecurity session seems to more interesting because I never heard about a cybersecurity session like this. But it was more interesting and seems to be further go ahead with the people not going away for anything and more interested in listening to the same. Thanks a lot. I request Mr. Rambabu Garu to please have a moment to Mr. Daniel Garu. It's a GI Cherial painting. It's a GI tag from Telangana. May I request Rambabu Garu to give a memento to Dr. Mali? A token of gratitude to Dr. Anil Garu. And to Mr. Professor Pandurangara Garu. And a great thanks to all the delegates for your kind participation and for waiting for so long time. Thanks for all. May I request all the speakers to have a group photograph, please.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.